We all know that Xbox has been very confident as of late with the amount of studios they have under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella. Before E3, during E3, and even after E3, you can tell that a lot of Xbox executives felt very proud about the hard work all of their new and old studios have been doing. And to be very frank with everyone, they obviously should feel very proud, especially since after only 1 year of having these new studios, and some even less than a year, they were able to show up to E3 2019 with 14 Xbox Game Studio games that we will all play in the next year and a half. Now, I know that E3 was a bit disappointing to some people that were hardcore Xbox fans, and I was one of those, but what's really got me excited about the studios and everything else they're working on is the follow-up interviews and hints that have been floating around social media and interviews. And the biggest hints that I've seen people surrounding Xbox talk about are that multiple studios are working on open world RPG games, which to me is a pretty big deal for Xbox gamers, especially the ones that have been on the system for the last couple of years, because I would have to say that the biggest hole that Xbox has in their games library is that open world RPG game that people can sink hours into. And it's the main reason I wanted to make this video, because it would seem that multiple Xbox Game Studio developers are working on multiple RPG games for Xbox. And I'm here to discuss each studio that is working on those highly anticipated RPG games. But before I do, if you like the video, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. But let's dive into the first studio that's probably the most popular and has the biggest game rumored around it, which is Playground Games' second studio that's working on a new AAA open world RPG. Now, most people believe this is the next Fable or a Fable reboot, and since nothing has been confirmed by Microsoft, Xbox, or Playground Games, I'm going to just discuss what signs and articles have been made public about what they're doing and hiring. Now, the first huge indication that came along was, of course, that article that came out last year when Playground Games was looking for 177 positions to fill at their new studio in order for them to make a huge open world RPG. This was posted on the studio's LinkedIn page, which was looking for gameplay engineers and concept artists and environment builders. The one weird thing about this listing last year was that the listing did say that the new developers will be working on an entirely new AAA open world action / RPG project. And while I know this article is a little older, it still does say entirely new AAA RPG, which would rule out Fable, yet I do believe they're making the next Fable, and the company's trying to keep their development cycle and developers very close to the vest. Because let's be honest with ourselves, nothing is more exciting than seeing a new game being announced from a franchise you adore. And Fable to me has that type of power when it comes to gamers being excited for a new game. Not to mention Playground Games are one of the best developers Xbox has in their Xbox Game Studios. They make the best racing game around in Forza Horizon, at least to me it is the best. Now, I'm very confident in their talent to make an amazing open world RPG game that people will adore. And if it is Fable, I hope they put their own spin on the game and make it something different that new and old fans can love. But if it's not Fable, let's hope it's an awesome open world game that brings a lot of world building attached to an awesome story. And I feel like they've hired the necessary developers and people surrounding that new studio to make an awesome open world game. This isn't just the same people that made Forza Horizon moving over to make this game. No. They're hiring new people to come in and that have great experience building open world games. I really feel that Microsoft has a lot of confidence in the studio, and I feel like the studio has a lot of confidence in their talent that they're bringing in. So let's see what they can do with the new open world game if it gets announced next year or even the year after. Either way, I'm extremely excited for it. Now for the next studio, which is one of the most recent acquisitions that joined Xbox Game Studios, and that studio is Obsidian Entertainment, who was announced back at XO18. This studio is considered one of the best open world RPG developers around. They've made what most people consider the best Fallout game of all time in Fallout New Vegas, and they're bringing out a highly anticipated game in The Outer Worlds, which is coming out this October and was received very well at E3 by people that were given the chance to play demos of it. And with what we've seen from this developer regarding the world building in The Outer Worlds, you can tell that their greatest talent is used when they make huge open world games that have rich world building. but it's already been announced that Obsidian Entertainment is currently working on a brand new RPG project that isn't the Outer Worlds. And rumors have been that this game has been in development for a little while now. And while they're still working on the Outer Worlds to get it ready for an October launch, Obsidian is still working on a new RPG game that will have branching dialogue and storylines. And one of the lead narrative designers at Obsidian announced on Twitter that they're looking for a lead narrative designer. The tweet says this: "Hey, at Obsidian is looking for a lead narrative designer for our next project. 3+ years experience, one shipped game with branching dialogue, and knowledge about RPG design conventions." This confirms that they're looking for someone that is able to build an amazing story with branching dialogue and has knowledge of an RPG. To me, this isn't the biggest surprise because I know that Obsidian Entertainment makes some of the most enjoyable and immersive open world games on the market. They take their work very seriously and make some amazing experiences for a lot of us to enjoy. Now, of course, it's not clear what this project is, and we probably won't know what it is for a few years, but it's nice to see that Obsidian isn't just working on one game. Instead, they seem to be ramping up their development around the entire studio. And this company has said themselves that they feel they fit a certain hole that Xbox had for a little while in their games library. And to me, that's open world RPGs, which Obsidian more than fills that void. Let's hope this new game is something special and new, especially since they have the funding to make anything they want now that they're with Microsoft. And I have to say, the studio has grown. They've hired. They were at 170 people when they were first acquired by Microsoft. And it would seem that they have already hired a lot of people to go over 200, which really does make them fit in that AAA game making cycle, because they do make big open world games that people consider AAA, and the Outer Worlds is one of the biggest games coming out at the end of this year. So I'm extremely excited to see what they bring to the table for Xbox, and especially since a lot of their games are going to be coming to Game Pass for us Xbox gamers. And now the next studio I want to talk about is also a very recent acquisition that joined Xbox Game Studios, and that's In Exile. Now, this developer doesn't make that traditional RPG games that a lot of people are used to. Instead, they concentrate on massive RPG games that are tied to classic style of gameplay. One of their games is Wasteland 2, which is an RPG at heart, but is played in a top-down strategy style. They're working on Wasteland 3 and also made the Bard's Tale 4, which again has RPG elements, but is a different style of game. They're a very small studio compared to Obsidian and Playground Games, so a lot of their games have been smaller and didn't have the best funding possible. But most of their games have been very well received overall. Yet most of their games seem to not be well known because they don't have the reach a lot of other publishers and developers seem to have around the industry. But with Microsoft in their corner now, they'll be able to maximize their talent and take their games to a new level. Not to mention they've hired new developers and expanded their studio like every other studio attached to Xbox has done the past year. So I'm excited to see what type of game they'll try to make, considering they'll be given the money and time to make pretty much anything they want. And it would seem they love to concentrate on RPG games, which again is a problem that Xbox seems to be addressing with these new studios that are being created from the ground up, or with these new studios like In Exile and Obsidian. And for them to be talented enough to create classic RPGs and have them be received well by gamers that love those types of games is something that should be exciting for all Xbox gamers. And with them having about 70 employees on staff before Xbox acquired them, and they were still able to make such huge games, does say a lot about the talent they have on staff and the leadership within the studio. And with all the new additions they've added over the last year, it's going to be very cool to see what they can create once they have the funding and the backing of Microsoft. I want to see what they're able to make with all the funding and with new people coming in and all these things without having their hands tied behind their back. And as for what I think about all of these new RPGs that I've been hinted at for a little while now, I have to say that I'm very, very excited to see what these awesome developers can make. Because it's been a very long time since Xbox has released a massive open world game that the entire community can get behind. But I think the Outer Worlds will be the first taste Xbox fans get that can really show off what a brand new Xbox studio can do in the RPG genre. And these are only 3 of the 14 studios attached to Xbox that I believe will be making huge open world games that we can sink our teeth into. There's also other studios that might be making huge open world games that we can fall in love with, but these 3 studios are the most likely to make massive open world games for Xbox. Not to mention, they're the 3 that get me the most excited because of the talent that's attached to these studios. Be it Playground Games' pedigree with Forza Horizon, making it the best open world racing game around, or Obsidian Entertainment always delivering massive open world games that everyone loves, or the underdog in Exile who makes classic RPGs that's a throwback to older games I grew up playing. Well, no matter which game releases first, I'm going to be there day one excited to play. And I'll leave you with a quote from Fargo of In Exile when he was asked about Microsoft and their involvement of their games. He said this: "I would just add, as an ending, I can honestly say I have a renewed sense of enthusiasm I haven't had for a long time. I am super excited about this. In some ways, we've had one hand tied behind our back, and now no longer." Exciting times ahead, guys, I have to say. But enough about what I think about all of this. Tell me what you guys think about this. Do these studios get you excited about Xbox's next RPGs? Do you think Xbox needs more than 3 open world games? Would you rather have a linear action adventure game instead of open world? Which studio out of the 14 are you most excited about? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. Any support helps the channel out more than you know. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my videos. Also follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description. If you want to hang out and chat with me, I'm very active with my chat and always playing games there. I hope to see you guys there. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.